我哋
Members, is the scheduled start time of the House Committee meeting. I call to order the meeting. Item 1 on the agenda, confirmation of minutes of the meeting. Minutes of the 25th meeting held on the 8th of June 2018. The minutes have been forwarded to members before the meeting. So far, we have not received any comments from members on the minutes. Can I invite members to confirm the minutes, please? Confirmed. Item 2 on the agenda, matters arising. Report by the Chairman on the meeting with the Chief Secretary for Administration. There is nothing special to report. Item 3 on the agenda, business arising from previous Council meetings. A Legal Service Division report on bill referred to the House Committee in accordance with Rule 54(4). Inland Revenue Amendment Number 5, Bill 2018. Can I invite the legal advisor to take us through paper number LS 70/17 to 18 briefly, please? Thank you, Madam Chair. The bill seeks to implement free taxation proposals in the 2018-19 budget. The first is to provide an option for married persons to elect for a personal assessment separately, starting from the year on or after the 1st of April 2018. The second proposal is to allow for tax deduction of capital expenditure in relation to environmental protection installations from 5 years to 1 year. And the third is to provide for tax exemption to cover certain debt instruments. It will commence on the date of gazetted. The relevant panel has not been consulted. Mr. Kenneth Leung and Mr. Wu Chi-wei proposes the Bills Committee. Anyone joining, please? Secretary, please circulate papers. B. Legal Service Division report on subsidiary legislation gazetted on the 8th of June 2018. Can I invite the legal advisor to take us through paper number LS 69/17 and 18 briefly, please? Thank you. Yes, the report covers 6 items of subsidiary legislation. The first one, LN 113, is to amend the food adulteration metallic contamination regulations. There are 14 metals in food for which the maximum permitted concentrations are spelled out in the regulations. The amendment is to bring it in line with the international standards. The panel on food safety and environmental hygiene was consulted in June and July 2017 and also in 2018. Members expressed certain concerns, although they supported the proposal in general. The LM will come into operation on the 1st of November 2019. Members who wish to set up a subcommittee, Mr. Stephen Ho and Mr. Peter Shiu, Dr. Henry joining. Please continue. The next 2 items, LN 114 and 115, they're made by the Secretary for the Environment under the Protection of Endangered Species of Animals and Plants Ordinance. It seeks to amend Schedule 1 of the ordinance in relation to the list of endangered species, and also to amend Part 1 of Schedule 3. This is to implement the latest amendments of the Conference of Parties to the Convention on International Trade and Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Now, the relevant panel was the panel on environmental affairs was briefed, and members have certain views on the proposal. For LN 2 and 3, for the the next 2 items, the members do wish to set up subcommittee. Yes, Dr. Henila Wong proposes a subcommittee. Any members joining? Secretariat, please circulate papers, please. Next. Employment Amendment Number 2, Ordinance 2018 Commencement Notice. This is to appoint the 19th of October 2018 as the day on which the amendment ordinance comes into operation. Now, on overcharging job seekers and unlicensed operation of employment agencies, the amendment bill will raise the maximum penalties, and also the ordinance will expand the scope of the application of this offence. The Bills Committee has considered the relevant bill in detail. For this item, members do wish to set up a committee, please. Deputy Chairman proposes a subcommittee. Any member joining, please? Mr. Jeremy Tam. Secretary, please circulate papers. May I remind members, for the 4 items of subsidiary legislation, the deadline for amendments the 11th of July Council meeting. If the scrutiny is to be extended, it will be extended to the first Council meeting at the next session. 2 items of subsidiary legislation under the United Nations Sanctions Ordinance. These items will refer to the subcommittee to examine the implementation in Hong Kong of resolutions of the United Nations Security Council in relation to sanctions. Legal advisor, please. Yes, these, as the chairman pointed out, these 2 UN sanctions, LN 117 and 118. The sanctions are to apply to Central African Republic and Yemen. There is no need for consideration by the NESCO, and NESCO has no powers to amend these regulations. So perhaps I would suggest that members refer the 2 items to the subcommittee to examine the implementation of Hong Kong resolutions of the United Nations Security Council in relation to sanctions. It has already suggested that the members, that is, will refer the 2 items to the reference subcommittee for a follow-up. Agreed? Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda, further business for the Council meeting of the 26th of June 2018. Paper to be submitted. There is the LSD. There is a report of the House Committee on items of legislation. The deadline for amendment will be on the 20th of June. No members have indicated a wish to speak. Item B, Bill first reading, second reading, Employment Amendment Bill 2018. The House Committee will consider this bill at the next meeting on the 22nd of June. Members' motions. Mr. Frankie Yik is proposing proposed resolution extended the scrutiny period on 6 items of subsidiary legislation on bus route matters. This is to extend the scrutiny period to the Council meeting on the 11th of July. Item 5, business for the Council meeting of the 27th of June 2018. A. Questions. 22 questions have been scheduled, 6 oral and 16 written. B. Bill, first reading, moving of second reading. Ferry Services Amendment Bill 2018. The House Committee will consider the bill at its meeting on the 29th of June. C. Bills, resumption of second reading, debate, committee station, third reading. First, A1, Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2018. 2, United Nations Sanctions Amendment Bill 2018. At the House Committee on the 8th of June, members have raised no objections to the resumption of second reading debate of the 2 bills. The common motion, proposed resolution to be moved by the Chief Secretary under the District Council Ordinance Cap 336 and Small Claims Tribunal Ordinance Cap 338. 2. Proposed resolution to be moved by the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury under Section 3.1 of the Loans Ordinance Cap 61. Legal advisor, please take us through the proposed resolution briefly. Thank you. Yes, the proposed resolution seeks the approval of the Legislative Council to authorize the government to borrow no more than $100 billion in sums, and also to charge it to the capital under the Capital Works Reserve Fund. If this resolution is passed, then the Financial Secretary may have regard to the exceptional circumstances or terms, and then use that sum for specified uses under the Capital Works Reserve Fund, including the public works project for public works projects. The government will be raising finances through the government green bond program to provide the necessary funds to finance green projects through the capital markets. The relevant panel has asked questions, and then the final on financial affairs was briefed on the development of green finance in Hong Kong at its meeting on the 3rd of April 2018. Members raised various inquiries. If passed, it will come into operation on the day of publication in the Gazette. Members who wish to set up a subcommittee, please. Mr. Ted Hui, Mr. Au Nok Hin propose a subcommittee. Mr. Eddie Chu is joining. So in accordance with convention and the agreement made with the administration, the House Committee will ask the administration to withdraw notice for the proposed resolution, so members the subcommittee will have enough time to consider it. E. Members' motions. Motion under the Legislative Council on Powers and Privileges Ordinance Cap 382 to be moved by Dr. Chen Chung Tai. Well, at the Council meeting on the 13th of June, members' motions could not be dealt with, so this will be carried forward to the Council meeting on the 26th of June. Item 6 on the agenda, reports of Bills Committees and Subcommittees. A. Report of the Bills Committee on Inland Revenue Amendment No. 6 Bill 2017. Can I invite the Chairman of the Bills Committee, Mr. Kenneth Leung, to report, please?
The main purposes of the Inland Revenue Amendment No. 6 Bill 2017 are to codify the transfer pricing rules into the Inland Revenue Ordinance for the implementation of the international requirements to counter base erosion and profit shifting, and to enhance the current provisions for double taxation relief. The Bills Committee has held 9 meetings to scrutinize the bill, including 1 meeting to receive views from deputations. During the course of deliberation, the Bills Committee has discussed in detail the application of the transfer pricing rules in various aspects, given Hong Kong's territorial-based and simple tax regime. The Bills Committee and the deputations in general are supportive of Hong Kong's commitment to honouring its international obligations by implementing the BEPS package. Some members and deputations, however, have expressed concerns over the compliance burden arising from the transfer pricing regulatory regime, in particular, the application of the transfer pricing rules to domestic transactions and related documentation requirements, as well as the fees payable for application of advance pricing arrangements. After taking into account the views and suggestions made by members and deputations, the administration has proposed 57 amendments to the bill, including those for the purpose of relaxing the transfer pricing documentation requirements and setting a cap on the service charge in respect of advance pricing arrangement applications, and those related to the textual or technical aspects. The Bills Committee has examined and agreed to the administration's proposed amendments. The Bills Committee supports the resumption of the second reading debate on the bill at the Council meeting of 4th July 2018 and will not propose any amendment to the bill. Members are invited to note the deliberations of the Bills Committee as set out in the written report. Thank you.
唔該，梁議員。我提醒大家，如果大家對該條例草案提出修正案。
Thank you, members. If you wish to move amendments to the bill, the deadline for giving notice is the 13th of June, Saturday. B. Report of the Subcommittee on Proposed Resolutions under Construction Industry Council Ordinance and Pneumoconiosis and Mesothelioma Compensation Ordinance. Can I invite Mr. Ho Cumming, Chairman of the Subcommittee, to speak, please? Thank you, Madam Chair. The 2 proposed resolutions seek to raise the levy thresholds for construction works under the Construction Industry Council Ordinance, CICO, and pneumoconiosis and mesothelioma Compensation Ordinance PMCO from $1 million to $3 million. Members raised no objection to raising the above levy threshold, as will have little impact on the work of the Construction Industry Council CIC, and the proposal to exempt levy for low-value construction operations will help alleviate the financial burden of small and medium enterprise contractors. As the Pneumoconiosis Compensation Fund Board PCA FB has accumulated funds amounting to $22.37 billion. Members expressed concerns as to how to make good use of the funds and offer better support to relevant patients and their family. Members urged the administration to review the statutory compensation. The administration is advised that the Labour Department LD is studying the feasibility of including expenses on the use of non-invasive positive pressure ventilation device and sputum suction device in the scope of compensation. LD aims to consult PCLB and LAB in the fourth quarter of 2018. The subcommittee raises no objection to proposed resolutions and will not propose any amendments. The subcommittee notes that after the passage of the two proposed resolutions, the administration will introduce into LegCo amendment of levy threshold under CICO for negative vetting. To avoid confusion to contractors paying the levies, the administration intends to align the effective dates of the new levy threshold under the three pieces of legislation. The administration has subsequently advised that it will give notices for moving the two proposed resolutions at the council meeting of the 27th of June 2018. The subcommittee's deliberations are detailed in the report. Members, please note. Thank you.
Please note that the government has already made an announcement, and on the 27th of June, Legislative Council meeting, these two motions will be deliberated, and if members have no questions on those two motions, where we have, and the deadline is 20th of June, it's a Wednesday, and agenda item 7, the progress of bills committees. Well, as of 14th of June, we have 8 bills committees doing work, and we also have some 15 bills committees, 4 panels who are researching policy. And on the waiting list, we have 9 research groups, and agenda item number 8, AOB. We don't have any other business, and that would conclude our meeting.